Well, welcome to a new series called Rate My Ride, where esteemed motorbike coach Mark McVeigh and I, Michael Mann, will be analysing real riding footage submitted by Bennetts BikeSocial members or Bennetts Bike Club members. But first, a quick word of thanks to Shoei Helmets for helping us make the show. All right, Mark. So we live in a world full of action cameras. Everyone's filming everything, aren't they, these days? And it kind of floods all forms of social media. Audiences lap up watching other people play computer games or driving or flying or kicking or whatever they're doing. But what have we got coming up in this very first episode?
Yeah, well, we've got my bosses, which are you and Steve, and then I've got to critique your videos. Gulp, no pressure. So this might be the last time the audience sees me. But yeah, video is fantastic. I mean, in my school, I've been using video shadowing and video techniques for 20 years. That's really a great tool. And, having the videos so much on social media, it's also a great tool as well because, especially for riders, we're told to develop that sixth sense, but that kind of comes from experience. So rather than learning the hard way from experience, we can show other people's experience and learn that way. So really great. But we've got 4 clips, kind of mixing in town and rural between you and Steve. So looking forward to getting in there.
I'm nervous already.
I'll be gentle.
Oh, it's me. You can tell because of Michael on my helmet.
So we just let that one run through. Yeah, beautiful lid. Let that one through, and then we'll basically peel it back and do a bit of a deep dive. So we can see, we've got a junction and we've got a left-hand bend. So this is quite this could be quite a serious corner. So definitely need to pay attention here. So if we think about our riding fundamentals, see and be seen, positioning, appropriate speed, and be ready. Those are the key things. So if we play it through, I think, your position, you would probably be out in the middle of the road normally for this left-hand bend, but, this car's here, so you're a bit wary. So you kind of compromising and go in line position 2. So that's good. And then the car, as you can see, is still sitting there, but, they're kind of fluffing around. You're not quite sure what they're doing. So your attention, you're peripherally looking at that car, but you're looking through the corner because you've got a left-hand bend coming up, so your position, you're kind of heading into 1 now, and my intuition here is that what if a car's coming around the corner and this car's pulling out, that it's going to put the car into you. So I'd kind of be in 1 as well. I think that's a good position to be in, and then you can kind of, if you think about, okay, can you stop in the distance you can see in your line to be clear? That's probably about the right speed. You've got good skills and you've done a lot of training. So that kind of makes sense. You're still in 1 and then the corner opens up and you can go back into 2 and 3.
Perhaps I can set the scene a little bit here. If you can reverse it at the beginning. So we've got, so I'm riding an Africa Twin, big bike, tall bike. But I've also got this camera angle that's sort of high above my head. So the peripheral vision of the camera is good because it's one of those 360 cameras.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not my eye line. However, what it does suggest is that, I remember this road because I don't remember this road. I remember the particular ride. I don't know the road, but you can still see a little bit sort of damp patches. And I can see the car, and I've noticed him a long way before. And I can see that he's likely to turn left, as in, towards me. So I knew that he wasn't going to be coming across my path. But in terms of road position, there's not a great deal else I could have done there, is there?
Exactly.
I think the speed seems to be appropriate as well.
Yep, 100%. Let's run it through. Let's run it through at full speed again.
Boston.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate speed. You could definitely stop in the distance, you could see. So, yeah, listen, I think that's 9 out of 10. You didn't really do anything wrong. and you ticked all the boxes for the riding fundamentals. So that I'm a bit relieved. Okay, that's a good start.
Oh, it's a nice way to start the day.
All right, let's get on to the big boss now. Let's run his through. Steve Rose.
Oh, we've just got to praise this, haven't we?
Wow, amazing skills. Okay, listen, I quite like Steve's style there, and I don't have to just say that. But if we go back, okay, and you look, here's the left-hand corner, and you look at his positioning. You know, see and be seen. He's optimized his safety bubble. He's right on that middle of the road, which is perfect. And then there's obviously a car coming here, so he needs to activate that safety bubble, get into 2 or 1. He's kind of like 2 there, really. So that's good. And he's got a right-hand bend coming up ahead. So he could be in 1. And I have noticed with Steve, he doesn't like line position 1. And we have had a conversation about this last night. So it'll be interesting to get his feedback on that. But he's kind of still in 2, which is not so bad. But he doesn't like 1 for some reason. So he's come across. There's still a car coming. So he's staying in 2. That's good. And then out to 3. So see and be seen. Left-hand corner, he can definitely stop in the distance he can see. He's doing lots of lateral movement in his line, which is great, you know, for things like motion camouflage. You know, drivers notice you more if you're kind of moving laterally. There's a bit of science around that. And then, you know, back into 2, nice and tight exit there. And then, yeah, good. So let's run it through from the start again. Steve's not here to defend himself, but so 3 into 2. Nice. Back into 3.
It's an interesting perspective, isn't it? This camera angle. It's off a waist. It's the same camera, so same piece of equipment I had in the last clip, but it gives you that overhead view. So it's interesting. But I know it's a road that Steve knows first of all, and he's a man who put many miles during the year, so he's a highly experienced rider. But it's interesting to see. How he's moving from, and until we sort of talk about it and point it out, you don't tend to notice the subtleties of his movements. Or any
exactly. Exactly, yeah.
Line and 3.
Yeah,
so he gives himself plenty of room there, doesn't he?
He does. I mean, it's kind of like, it's an 8.5, I think, because he's not using line position 1. Now, the score might go up if he comes and tells me there's potholes and stuff there that we can't really see, but I'd say 8.5 out of 10 for that, Steve. Not too bad.
Whether I represent the generic rider here and are suggesting that being so close to the inside of the road, where there's bushes, trees, there's no real curbing, there's no pavement, there's nowhere to run off on the inside in lane position 1, I would be backing. I wouldn't be as fast. If I were to be in lane position 1 here, I would not be traveling as quickly.
Yep, gotcha. Listen, that's I understand what you're saying for sure. And in 3, it's nice and clean. You're in the kind of crown of the road. It's pretty clean there, so it's a valid point. 1's going to be a little bit more mucky, but it looks pretty good to me. And there's something fundamental with Steve's riding that I've kind of identified from these other videos too, that he's not using 1. So it'll be interesting to do a bit of a deep dive, and maybe we can put something in the comments about that.
Good idea. All right, let's move on, shall we?
Okie dokie. So we're back to Mr. Mann. Let's run it through.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Okay, so there's a couple of interesting things happening here. So if we come back, so, positioning is good. It's 3 to 2 there. And if you look at the kind of hazards that you've got, obviously we've got this is probably the biggest hazard, the car that could nip out in front of you versus the truck that would kind of crawl out, so I'd be kind of staying away from that. That's the biggest risk, that white car, in my book. Appropriate speed, I'd say the speed's appropriate. And then something kind of happens here. There's like the head's going down a couple of times, and if we bring it back here, See, it goes down there, just approaching the junction. So that kind of just gets my spidey senses tingling. So let's run it back again and watch for that head, Michael. So just coming to the junction, then boom, head goes down just before the junction. Please explain.
I know this road very well and this particular set of junctions. So you've got a junction there on the left where you just saw where the truck is, and you've got a roundabout only a couple of 100 yards further on. So I think because I feel like I'm on the stand here. What are you doing?
No pressure.
I think it's to do with I'm trying to find the indicator switch. I think that this is not a bike that's familiar to me. We spend a lot of time switching from bike to bike to bike when we're doing all sorts of testing. So my excuse, my valid excuse here is I'm kind of just making sure that my fingers are in the right place to hit the indicator switch, because I don't want to be indicating too soon. And people think the truck or the car are thinking that I'm going to turn down that junction to the left. But I'm going to be prepared to indicate for the roundabout that's coming up. I think that's my case.
Okay, that's your. I rest my case. Yeah, so that's going to put a little dent in your score, sir. So one of the riding fundamentals to be ready. We just don't know what these cars are going to do. I mean, they can see you, and it is unlikely, but looking down just for that split second before, might put a bit of a ding. You probably would have been 9.5 there, and I reckon you might be an 8 now. So hopefully we can still be friends after this.
No worries.
It is. All right, we got one more with Steve. So I'm feeling a bit under pressure here, but let's go and have a look. See what he does here. So he's still up in that line position 1. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. And then back out to 3, which is good. Yeah, so Steve,
here, aren't they? We can see, he's clearly he's looking quite far ahead through the corners, isn't he? Each time you can tell from this angle.
Absolutely. No, he's got great vision, great positioning. This line position 1 again, you've got a right-hand corner, and he's kind of in line position 2. He goes across a little bit more. Maybe he's 1.5. But you can see, the road is messy there. So it's, to give yourself a bit of, room for error, a bit of wiggle room. That totally makes sense. It'll be interesting to get Steve's feedback. So, and then, he comes across, and he's kind of, he could probably apex in 3, but he's got that van coming. This is interesting, and it could be a little bit of camera angle. The van is being very courteous and staying out of the way. And I'm not sure if it's the camera angle. It's, Steve's kind of, maybe he's 2.5 there. And I kind of, again, I'd be in 1, these people looking at their phone and coming across like that. So I'd definitely be, a wee bit further away from that van. And then he's kind of 2. And then back into 3 for the next left-hander, which is great. Yeah, so good vision, appropriate speed. He's kind of you can see the way he's riding, he's ready. So that's really great, and he's using the full width of the road. His safety bubble's good, but I think just that reluctance to go into 1. If you kind of we're operating at a high standard here, right? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got to be the upper echelon, hasn't he, in terms of what we're experiencing as quality riding. Can we just bring it back a little bit further? So I want to find out at what point do we see the van for the first time?
Yeah, it's kind of here. So he's got the vanishing point, and it's about there where he sees the van. So he's got loads of time. But again, right-hander, you could be across further to 1, and I think there's something there. There's a deep reluctance to go into 1 for some reason.
Sure.
And then he's kind
this is a good example, Mark, of it's a good example of closing speeds. Again, they're probably the van and Steve are probably doing somewhere between 50 and 60 miles an hour each. 100%. And there's not a great deal of time, is there, between them noticing each other and actually meeting at this point.
Exactly.
So it's just interesting to demonstrate to our viewers about the importance of making sure that you are looking ahead, even on the more rural roads, because you never know what is coming and how quickly you're going to meet them.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm gonna, like he's nice to watch, but he's not using one. So, I think we're gonna go an eight on this one as well. So yeah, hopefully you'll see me back next week.
Mark, that was brilliant. Thank you so much for that. That's it's been a really, really good, interesting first stab at our brand new series, Rate Your Ride or Rate My Rides. Well, look, if you want us to rate your ride, then send your footage to the email address. We'll put it on the screen. It's enquiries@bikesocial.co.uk. And for every clip that we use, the owner will receive a free Shoei cap. So we say thank you also to Shoei Helmets for supporting the series. How about that? Don't forget also to tune into our Better Riding series for stacks more riding advice. All right, Mark, have a good day. See you next time.
No worries. Thanks, Michael. Cheers.